Here are 5 of the easiest strategies in BTD6. At number 5, we have the Apache Prime Prince of Darkness combo. This one is really fun and hands-off and is what I use to black border many beginner and intermediate maps. For our hero, you can really choose any of them, but I'd recommend either a strong early game hero like Obyn or Sauda, or you can go with Ezili as she pairs well with the Prince of Darkness. We'll start off with whatever monkeys are needed to get by the first few rounds, whether that's Sauda, a submarine, or in this case, a 101 ninja. All of them work just fine, but if you're not running Sauda, we'll save up for our hero. I like to put Ezili up front and set her to strong. This way she can apply her damage over time to the strongest balloons right away as they enter the map. Then we'll upgrade our ninja to a 302, as this will give us plenty of popping power and let us focus on setting up our mid-game defenses. For us, that'll be placing a wizard down ideally in the middle of where all our towers will be. This way, when he becomes a necromancer, all the balloons will be popped inside his graveyard's range, so he always has balloons to reanimate. We'll rush a wall of fire on him and then pick up monkey sense. The only hard round in this section might be around 25, as the purples can blow past Ezili and the wizard, but our ninja should be able to solo them. If you're on top of things though, you can always use Ezili's level 3 ability to make the purple balloons weak to magic. After we have our 022 wizard, we'll upgrade our ninja to a 402 balloon jitsu and buff him with an alchemist. Start off with a 300 berserker brew, but work towards making him a 420 stronger stim. This will give us tons of popping power just in time for the 40s. As you can see, none of the rounds will be very difficult, so we'll start working towards the end game. Place down a village in a spot that can buff all of our towers that we've placed and upgrade it to a 200 so our monkeys get that jungle drums buff. If you want, you can pick up grow blocker like I did here, but that was just because I didn't want to misclick later on and accidentally cross path the village incorrectly. We'll need radar scanner once we get the heli pilot, so I just spent the $270 to prevent any future mistakes. Completely player preference, but we have plenty of money to spare. Now we'll work towards getting our first tier 5 monkey of the game by upgrading our wizard. We'll work our way down the bottom path, picking up shimmer and necromancer, then we'll move the spawn point of the balloons to slightly behind our defenses. This way they won't be wasted on any balloons that we would have popped normally, but they'll provide a massive layer of defense for any large rushes that would have gotten by. And we want them to be near the wizard so that when these reanimated balloons pop anything, it'll refill our wizard's graveyard. Fast forward 15 rounds and we should be able to afford the Prince of Darkness. No abilities or targeting changes will be needed during this save up period, making it super safe and easy. And once we get our Prince of Darkness, we are set until round 80, which is why this pairs so well with the Apache Prime. Speaking of which, now is the time that we'll place our heli pilot and we'll make him a 302 and we'll pick up radar scanner on the village, as this helicopter won't be able to see camos otherwise. This will bring us to the late 70s where we'll be able to afford the Apache dart ship upgrade, bringing our heli pilot from something that does almost no damage to being up there with the Prince for our main damage dealer. And then we'll save straight up for the Apache Prime. Once again, we won't really have to use any abilities, but if you want to, you can. I like to use Ezili's Moab hacks on rounds like 85 and 87 just to speed them up a bit and make sure the pod's graveyard stays full. In the late 80s or early 90s though, we'll be able to make our helicopter a 502 Apache Prime and most of our worries will go away. From here, we just need to make our village a 230 MIB to make our heli much better at popping DDTs, and then we'll give him his own personal alchemist. Make this new elk a 420 and only put the heli pilot in his range. This way, all the potions will go to the Apache Prime. Now, all that's left is some support. The big options are either a main Moab sniper, some Moab press boomerangs, or a Relentless Glue glue gunner. All of them are extremely valuable and it's up to you. I opted for a Relentless Glue just because it's super strong right now, but it might get nerfed in the future, so be flexible here. Anyway, this will crush the 90s, so feel free to use Moab hex on any round, though I recommend either using it on round 98 or 99, as those will be the 2 hardest rounds of the run. And this brings us to round 100. The one downfall of this strat is that neither of our tier 5 monkeys are especially good against the bad, but because this strat should really only be used on longer maps, the Apache Prime should be able to take it out eventually. If you have the money though, you can pick up a first strike submarine or some spike storms like I did. Both of these excel at round 100 and will let you pop the bad super easily, especially if Moab Hex comes back off cooldown, making the ZOMGs inside a joke. But that's my 5th easiest strategy to use on chimps. Just make sure to use it on longer maps that only have one track. Up next is the Sub Army. This one is super easy and will beat plenty of beginner and intermediate maps that have a decent amount of water. We'll almost always start off with a dart monkey and a submarine. This is a classic start that works on many maps, even some experts, so just use this and save up for Brickle. For me, the dart and sub let me afford Brickle on round 10, but don't be afraid if a harder map calls for a little extra defense before placing down your hero. From here, we'll work towards getting an airburst dart submarine. If your first sub is in range of Brickle, upgrade that one, but if you put Brickle far away like I did, then getting a new submarine is just fine. I like picking up advanced intel on this new sub first, that way it can start shooting much earlier and helps out a ton on tough rounds like 15. But we should be getting this guy to a 202 in the early 20s, which is just in time for us to get camo detection. In submarine strats, camos are super easy as they can use other towers for this, so we'll just upgrade our dart monkey to a 002, which gives it and our advanced intel sub camo detection. Now, the next thing to worry about are lead balloons, but that's super easily solved with either a buccaneer or an alchemist. Here, I opted to get the buck first and elk later, but the order isn't too important. We'll get this buck to a 020 before round 28, that way his hotshot can pop all the leads for us, and we'll get faster shooting on him for that extra attack speed. And now the fun starts. We'll get 2 discount villages as close to the water as possible. These are important because we'll be getting plenty of submarines later on, and these discounts will save us a ton of money. So get down a 002 village and see how much of the water it affects. Sometimes it's tough to get the discount to go deep into the water, but on a map like Lotus Island, it's not too bad. Now that we have a slight discount, upgrade your sub to a 203 to get some extra DPS for the upcoming round. This will buy us enough time to get down another discount village, and here is where you'll have to decide. Do you want to get extra range on the second village to discount more submarines in the future, or do you want to make it a 032 to make DDTs super easy? I prefer the first because Brickle counters DDTs if you're paying attention. With this in mind, I chose to make the second village a 102 for the extra range, and then make the first village a 202 so all of our damaging monkeys will get that jungle drums buff. Then we'll work towards making our buck a 320 destroyer. This guy is a mid-game warrior and will destroy the Moabs coming our way. Unfortunately, he won't be up in time for round 40, but this first Moab is easily popped with Brickle's level 3 ability. Now, the 40s are full of camos, and if you choose the village route that I did, our Buccaneer can't see them. So we'll upgrade our sub up front to a submergent support for some cheap and easy camo detection. Next, we'll get a new submarine and make it a 203 as well. Make sure to put this guy in range of both villages and Brickle to get the most out of him. Then get down a 301 alchemist near the edge of the water so he can buff all of our monkeys, giving them extra attack speed, pierce, and damage. And from here, we start the most important save up of the run. We'll make both of our submarines 204s and save up $27,000 for a sub commander. This will be a super easy time as our current towers are plenty for the next several rounds, and the only one we really have to worry about is round 63, which just happens to be the round we can afford the sub commander on. So just use Brickle's naval tactics on the first rush of ceramics and you should have the money for the sub commander upgrade. This will be plenty of damage to take out the rest of the round. Now, we'll just upgrade our alchemist to a 401 and start filling out the water with more submarine. What I like to do is just squish them in there and make them 203s. This way, we get the full benefit of the double discount villages while also getting tons of extra defenses. Once you fill out the water that's affected by both villages, Brickle, and the sub commander, we can go back and upgrade all of the subs to 204s. For me, I ended up with 1 sub commander and 7 APDs, finishing these upgrades on round 81. This is an absurd amount of defense, especially on a long map like this where we can take advantage of the sub's advanced intel. But we're not done yet. We're going back to the buck and making him a carrier flagship. This will take a little bit, but once it's done, our submarines will have yet another buff on them. In the meantime though, there's only one thing to worry about: DDTs. They show up on round 90 and can be tricky as they have the lead property. If you planned on making your second village a 032, this is the time to do it and you'll have nothing to worry about. But if you went my route, then you have to pay attention. We have 2 very easy counters to them. Brickle's level 3 and level 10 ability will both take them out. So in round 90, just wait until the 3 DDTs are on screen and either use a Megamind or Naval Tactics to pop them all. And on round 93, you can pop all 6 of them with these again. Both are super easy to pull off, it's just personal preference. This is about the time we get the carrier flagship, and now it's time for supporting monkeys. I like to get another 401 alchemist on top of our buccaneer so he can spread out the buffs to all the submarines, and then I like to get a 401 ice monkey up front as this guy can de-lead some of the DDTs as well as making everything take extra damage. Overall, a very good value. But this brings us to round 95. I like to start off with a Megamind and wait until plenty of DDTs are on screen before I use naval tactics. If you wait until all the DDTs are about to get past the subs to activate the ability, it'll easily last long enough for you to pop every DDT on the round. From here, it's a smart play to start placing Megaminds near the back of your defenses for a last line of defense, but it's not required. You should be fine without this, but it's just better to be safe than sorry. Now, we'll just pick up something cheap like a 024 Glue Gunner and beat the rest of the run. Just be sure to either save a Megamind or naval tactics for round 99, as those fortified DDTs can be tricky if you forget. But round 100 should be a piece of cake as our subs hard counter this round. The sub army strat is strong through the entire game, and really the only thing you have to worry about are DDTs, but between Brickle's Megaminds and naval tactics, they really shouldn't be a problem. The third easiest strategy is the Moab Mauler spam. Once again, we'll be using whatever monkeys are necessary to start the run, and then we'll save up for our hero, Striker Jones. To show that you can take your time with this placement, I didn't even get Striker down until after our submarine was a 201, as that was needed to survive. In fact, I even went back to the sub after to make him an airburst, just to make the following rounds easy to deal with. In other words, we are in no rush with this strategy. We'll need some camo detection for round 24 though, so just upgrade a Dart Monkey to a 002 and it'll be able to pop the camo green. From here, we'll need a little extra defense before we can really start spamming Maulers. So upgrade that Dart Monkey to a 023 crossbow and either pick up a recursive cluster bomb shooter or upgrade your starting tower another tier. This will bring us to the mid 30s where we will get down 2 discount villages, but unlike the last strategy, one of these will get the radar scanner upgrade later on. Anyway, once we have a 202 and a 002 village down, we'll place down a 203 bomb shooter. This combined with our other towers will be enough defense for right now to get past the next few rounds. We'll upgrade our first village to a 402 so we can get some free upgrades on primary monkeys, and we'll make our second village a 022 so that all of our monkeys have camo detection. Once these are done, we'll get a second bomb shooter and make both of them 204 recursive clusters, and you'll already start to see the power of this strategy. This is about the time that Moab start coming pretty often, so we'll place down 6 or 7 Moab Maulers. Make sure that all of these are in range of both villages, so just scrunch them in as best you can. We'll be making all these Maulers 130s and changing their targeting to strong so that they're constantly attacking the blimps. With this, even round 63 and 64 will be a piece of cake and will allow you to save up for a primary expertise village. This will provide amazing global damage and make all of our primary monkeys much better. So once we have it, upgrade all our existing Maulers to 230s as that upgrade will be free, and then go back to placing more bomb shooters. Get as many as you can in range of both villages, make them all 230s, and set their targeting to strong. Now we just need some abilities, so make 2 of these Maulers into Moab Assassins and save up to make one of them a 250 Moab Eliminator. This, combined with the primary expertise, makes for a crazy short cooldown that deals tons of damage to Moab class balloons. So once you have it, just spam this ability for the rest of the run. Now it's just time for some support monkeys. If you can fit a Relentless Glue inside the range of both villages, do it. But I didn't save enough room for him to get camo detection, so I opted to skip him. Other than a glue gunner, you can place down a 420 sniper for some global stuns and a bunch of 204 boomerangs for some knockback. Now, the only thing you have to know is once Striker hits level 20, his artillery command ability gets much better. On top of resetting the cooldowns of bomb shooters and mortars, it doubles their damage and pierce for 10 seconds. So in rounds like 98, use some abilities and pop Striker's artillery command. This will evaporate the balloons and leave you with Striker's concussive shell and the Moab Eliminator's ability to pop the fortified DDTs on round 99. But once again, round 100 should be effortless, especially if you're still spamming the Moab Eliminator's ability. This strat is one of the best in the game and is often used on expert maps, but over there the upgrade order and timings are much more important. On easier maps, there's a lot of wiggle room that makes spamming Maulers one of the easiest ways to win. The second easiest strat we have is Obyn with Poplust Druids. We'll start off with a ninja and purchase Seeking Shuriken as fast as possible. On most beginner and intermediate maps, this will be able to beat the first couple rounds and will work towards making him a 201. This not only solves our future camo problem, but also lets us save up for Obyn. Even on carts and darts, where I had to remove an obstacle first, we easily were able to get Obyn down. From here, we'll place down a druid and you'll have an option. You can either choose to go for a Spirit of the Forest or an Avatar of Wrath. I'll be showing footage of both and you can decide which one you like better. In the Spirit of the Forest run, we'll get down a 230 druid next next Obyn and start working towards buffing it with 5 Poplusts Druids. Ideally, you'll discount these guys with 2 villages, but as I'll show you in the Avatar of Wrath strat, you can get away with just 1. Here though, I got down the 2 villages and started placing down 013 Druids. These provide a decent amount of mid-game damage, especially for how cheap they are, and we can start to see how much space all these Druids will take up. Once we have about 3 of them down though, we'll need more camo popping power. Between Brambles and our Ninja, we've been fine through the 30s, but now it's time to pick up a radar scanner on one village and jungle drums on the other. Then we'll go back to placing down Druid of Wraths until we have 6 of them, and then upgrading all of them to 014 Poplusts. The goal is to get 5 Poplust buffs on every Druid, including the Druid of the Jungle. All that's left now is getting down 2 Stronger Sim Alchemists to buff all of our Druids, and then upgrading the Druid of the Jungle to a Spirit of the Forest. This will be a super easy save up as their popping power is crazy at this time, and if you want to be extra safe, you can put Obyn's Wall of Trees as far back as possible for a last line of defense. As for our Avatar of Wrath run, we changed a few things. First, I started with a Druid because this was an easier map. This made camos a bit harder to deal with, so we popped around 24 with just Brambles, and I picked up a radar scanner by round 33. This is a bit unorthodox, but I wanted to show that it can easily be done. From here, we got our 6 Druid of Wraths, a Berserker Brew, and a Jungle Drums before making all of our Druids into Poplusts. Then, before saving up for an Avatar of Wrath, we put a Druid of the Storm back to knock back any balloons that sneak by. This guy is surprisingly good when buffed by a bunch of Poplusts and adds a lot to our defenses. And just like the other run, we got 2 Stronger Stims and saved up for the tier 5 Druid. In the Spirit of the Forest run, we got this upgrade on round 79, giving us plenty of time to pick up either extra damage or support monkeys. Right away, we got down a Druid of the Storm for that nice knockback, and then upgraded our radar scanner to a MIB so that all of our monkeys can pop every type of balloon. For the rest of the run, all we bought was a main Moab sniper for a little bit of stalling, and we won with over 62k in the bank. On harder maps, we would have had to buy more defenses, but even on an intermediate one, we got away with just this. One fun thing that I like to do though, is pick up an Avatar of Wrath alongside the Spirit of the Forest. In this run, we could have afforded it on round 98, but it would have been pretty overkill. As for the Avatar of Wrath run, we got this upgrade on round 81. Here, it's important that he is up front because you want him attacking constantly, as he attacks faster the more damage he's done that round. But if he stops attacking for just 2 seconds, this buff resets. After this tier 5 purchase, we picked up a MIB for all of our Druids, and then we saved up for an Icicle Impale. We really could have gotten any type of support monkeys, but you've already seen me get glue gunners, snipers, and boomerangs in other runs, so I wanted to mix it up. This tier 5 monkey stopped the DDTs and other blimps in their tracks, letting the Druids pop them super easily. And even with picking up another tier 5 tower, we still ended up beating chimps with $32,000 left over. Not bad for not trying to save money. But those were the Poplust strategies. Super hands off, as you don't really need abilities, you just need to make sure all your Druids are buffed by a MIB and 5 Poplusts. But now we're on to the easiest strategy that I know of, and you better believe it revolves around Sauda. We'll place her down right away and watch her solo the early rounds. Then we'll get down a wizard and make it a 020 Wall of Fire ASAP. I like to put this guy slightly in front of Sauda, as that Wall of Fire will thin out the herd of balloons, and later on, this wizard will be able to apply a burn effect on the balloons early on. After this, we'll make our wizard a 022 so he has camo detection, and then get a Berserker Brew Alchemist. Both of our towers will become very strong with this buff on them, and they'll be able to handle every round, but if by some miracle the balloons get by, you can always use Sauda's level 3 ability to bail you out. Fast forward to the mid 30s, and we'll have enough money to upgrade our wizard to a Dragon's Breath, a mid-game powerhouse even after its recent nerfs. Then we'll get a Jungle Drums village for round 40, and our defenses will pop the Moab so fast that we don't even have to think about using Sword Leap. But then we'll make our Alchemist a 401 Stronger Stim and place down the MVP of the run, a glue gunner. We'll make him a 024 Relentless Glue and watch him do his magic. Not only does he slow the balloons and Moabs coming our way, but when they pop, his glue applies a stun to nearby balloons that are still alive. This provides a crazy amount of stalling potential and pairs extremely well with Sauda. Not only does he keep the balloons inside Sauda's small range for longer, but also provides her with tons of extra damage. You see, at level 7, Sauda deals extra damage to stunned and frozen balloons, and at level 11, she deals extra damage to slowed balloons and those taking damage damage over time, and these two can stack. So she'll be outputting tons of damage if a balloon or blimp is stunned and burning at the same time. Now we'll pick up radar scanner on the village and do whatever we want going forward. I mean, I used a similar setup to get super mines on cubism, and that's a $135,000 upgrade. I don't recommend doing that, but we do have tons of options. What I did was get a permaspike factory at the end of the track and buffed it with jungle drums and an alchemist. Then I went back up front and upgraded our relentless glue to a super glue, which stops balloons in their tracks and applies a damage over time effect to them. This stall lets the factory place down tons of spikes every round, making sure the exit is secure even if a ton of spikes were used recently. Then we upgraded our village to a primary training and got 2 Moab presses for even more stalling. Probably not necessary, but I found it funny how well we were stalling the balloons, and we only needed one more thing: some single target damage for the bad on round 100. So we picked up a Moab eliminator to solve that problem. I was between this and a first strike submarine, but we already had a primary training village for the super glue, so I thought, why not get another primary monkey to benefit from this village? And with this addition, we had more than enough damage to take out the bad on round 100, and this factory still had a massive wall of spikes that were unused at the end of the track. But those were the 5 easiest strategies in BTD6. If you want to see some different strats, click this video right here.